And I made a comment. The post was about working in a toxic culture
Yes.
and that you need to get out of it, which is fine. I mean, we've talked about that. We said so before. I mean, we keep saying that you don't stay in somewhere where you don't feel happy or whatever, or you don't feel wanted or whatever. But the comment was that HR, I think the post was that a girl had said she had gone to HR to say that that the company is toxic, and she really needs to leave and she wants to leave, and if they could tell her, give her advice or whatever. And the HR person was like, "Well, look, I mean, this is the nature of the business. Yes, it is. And if you're not willing to do the work within this situation or this system or whatever, then we will accept a resignation." Now, I'm not too sure. I'm not paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what the
Yeah.
what the original post was. But the
Right.
essential thing is that what she said was nobody can work in a toxic culture, and I kind of said, well, my comment was the HR person is right, but she's also wrong, right? Which is what we've discussed before. It's nothing that we haven't said before. We've said
Hmm.
that if you work in a toxic culture, please don't stay, right? And I said, I discussed this in our podcast, but that's not important right now, episode 10 and 11, all about the removal of remote work, because I think the thing was about her having to work from home and she didn't want to work from, she didn't want to come back to the office or something like that. And I said, some people do actually thrive in a toxic situation. But in the agency, and that when we work there, that there are
Yeah.
people who are still there, and this is what I was saying. There are people who are still there 20 years on who can work within that system. They work 5 o'clock in the morning, they come back to work 10 in the morning, they do whatever they have to do, they don't take on, they just do what they need to do. And there's some people who can play the game, they play the politics, they play people one off with each other, they build cliques, they build
Very good at it. Very good at it. Yeah.
a system be around them so that they can protect themselves when the shit hit the fan. They are screened from it, and there are ways of doing it. And there are some people who can do it, and you and I know that we can't do that.
No.
We can't do that, right? We can take only so much as we can take, and there are other people we within our little group and community in the podcast, like Natasha and Damien. We don't work that way. That's not how we work.
Exactly.
We're very open. We're
Exactly.
very transparent. We like to be involved in things. I know there are people who work for guys who would tell them they have to do 3 and 4 and 5 different jobs, and they wouldn't bat an eyelid. They would do it.
Right.
Anybody who opened their mouth and say something is a troublemaker. They get branded with trouble. These are not troublemakers. These work, and I think I don't want to use the word. I don't want to use the word house slave mentality. But I was told that was what the mentality was. I'm like, I don't want to use that word. I can't use that word. But anyway,
I could,
so
but I have a reputation to protect. But yeah, I understand.
yeah.
I understand where
So
you're coming from.
somebody responded to my comment because I was just commenting, and I was trying to push the podcast a little bit because I
Yeah.
want more people to come and listen to, which is fine. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. And somebody said, well, no, that just no. So I don't know what that means. Okay, just no, cool. I said, well, you have to listen to the podcast because we discuss it. And we have people who have worked in it and seen it. And so don't tell me no. Come back and say, well, I don't agree with what you say. And then
Right.
I got a friend. So we're gonna shout out to our friend on Instagram. She's also on Twitter. And I'm gonna tag her in this week's podcast, and I want her to respond. And actually, I would love her to come on. We're opening the floor for her to. We've always said if people don't agree with anything we've said, come and tell
Right.
us.
Come and tell
Tell
us,
us.
and tell us why. Don't just
Yeah, yeah.
say.
Don't just say it.
Don't,
Just say why.
don't just say.
Yeah.
Don't just say that. If you listen, I'm gonna be very brutal here. If you say that the show is shit, tell us why you think it's shit.
Yeah.
And we'll listen to you.
Absolutely. So any listener who's listening now, share it. And tell your friends, hey, this is the situation. We are doing an open call to somebody who has called us up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fairine. I think I'm pronouncing that totally incorrectly, but it's Faeiryne. How would you pronounce that?
Fairine, I guess.
Fairine?
Yeah, I guess.
I'd say Fairine. Okay, I'm not being facetious and I'm not being insulting.
No, we're really trying to get your name right.
We're trying to get your name right?
In case anybody gets the wrong idea, we're just trying to get your name right. We're not disrespecting you or anything like that.
So she says, definitely the most ineffective way to pitch an unappealing podcast. Them be fighting words, Lee. Them be fighting words.